and he never really saw what hit him, like a lot of the people. Yeah.
My question is not about Russia, it's actually about the far right in this country. It's one has fascism and a left-wing movement, I know the higher.
She wants to know where the idea come that fascism was a left-wing movement, and why doesn't the right in this country support a strong centralized government in the traditional way that the right in Europe does, and is acting more like local? Well, it depends what you mean by the right. If you mean the Montana militiamen who want to, just keep everybody off the front lawn or something, they're very local, it's true. But the right in this country uses this strong sense for strong central government or weak central government, depending on the particular issue. If it's Social Security, it wants to dismantle the government. If it's military defense and Pentagon, it wants the government to grow and grow and grow. So it depends what it is. If it's corporate welfareism, it supports government spending. If it's welfare for people who are down and out, it doesn't support it because that weakens their moral fiber. The fascist Nazis left. Well, they had a left-leaning wing, the SA, the stormtroopers under Ernst Röhm, but they were wiped out fairly early. Hitler used the SA to win the battle of the streets and take state power, and then he used the state to crush the SA. And that the left hinge is simply, you get it with Pat Buchanan. It's a perfect mix. Pat Buchanan is against minimum wage. He's for the flat tax. He's for tax cuts for the rich. He's a right-wing reactionary. He's not that different from Steve Forbes, except he also has this little overlay of populist rhetoric and talks about the ordinary little working guy against the big corporations. He says that a couple of times, and wow. And that is to attract a mass base. The right always has to do that. The right represents 2% of the population. It has to find issues like abortion, school prayers, or populist rhetoric, whatever, to try to attract people and give the appearance that they're on your side. You see, racism is a very good issue for them, to divide people against each other along ethnic lines. It has a complete success in the dismemberment of Yugoslavia. Here's a country with a developing industrial base. They were turning out cars that were beginning to compete with the Germans. There was no room for Yugoslavia in Europe except as a colony. So you break it all up. You break it up in the name of freedom and autonomy and self-determination and the like. And you play on ethnic animosities to do that. What we have to understand is that identity politics can go just so far that even if you think that your greatest calling and mission and feeling in life is to realize the full experience of yourself as a Chicano lesbian, or whatever you are, you also have to remember that you're a working person, that you're breathing the same polluted air, that you're getting taxed up the kazoo, that you are being exploited, that you may not have a job, that you have to pay rent. You also have all those other issues, and all the different identity groups that have been working so hard during the 80s and 70s to distinguish themselves, to develop their own autonomy, to separate themselves from everybody else, have to realize that they all have a common enemy, that they're going to do it to all of you. When they come, they will round up the gays, and they will round up the African Americans and the Chicanos, and they will round up, they will even round up a lot of angry white males like me and others in this audience. And what we have to realize is that all these issues, many of these issues are interlinked. That is not to reduce. There are particular issues that have particular grievances and particular histories and agendas. Women's issues, gay issues, African American issues, they all have that. And I'm not trying to reduce that to class struggle, but they all are linked in some way to class struggle, and they all face a common enemy. It is time for unity. It is time for people to start emphasizing the things that bring them together and not emphasizing the few things that might separate them.